#1 public university. Nobel Prize winners, how beautiful the Bay Area is. Graduated student loan debt free. Blows my mind. Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Katie and I am a new junior transfer at UC Berkeley studying anthropology with a focus in archaeology and maybe double majoring in linguistics, but we'll see how that goes. If you're new here, I make academic/college advice and lifestyle videos with a little bit of vintage fashion just to mix things up a little bit. So if that sounds good to you, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and leave a comment down below to introduce yourself. Now, if you have seen some of my previous videos, including my college decision reaction video, you would know that I was accepted into both UC Berkeley and UCLA. And if you haven't seen that video, go ahead and click the little card up in the corner and it will take you there. Now, in today's video, I want to talk a little bit about the reasons why I chose to go to UC Berkeley instead of UCLA and all the other schools I got into. Now, in this video, I'm only going to really talk about UCLA and UC Berkeley because when it came down to it, those were the only two schools that I was seriously considering, so that's why this video focuses around those two. And also, UCLA and UC Berkeley are kind of like this, so yeah. So let's not waste any more time and get right into it, shall we? Now, before I get into the main reasons, this is a little bit of a side note. One of the biggest impressions that I got from Cal was Cal Week. This has to do with how quickly they responded to the pandemic and moving everything online, including their Cal Day, which is basically their open house for prospective and new students. Instead of it being one day on campus, they made a whole week-long event online with webinars and Q&As. Really just an incredible amount of programming in such a small amount of time. I did not see this from any of the other schools that I got into, at least not as quickly as UC Berkeley did it, and that left a pretty big impression, and that was just a little side note that I wanted to talk about. But now let's move on into the actual reasons. Reason number one, y'all might hate me for saying this, #1 public university. So one of the top reasons, which I'm sure is going to be very hotly debated, is that UC Berkeley ranks as the #1 public university here in the US and 4th best overall, according to the QS World University Rankings. Now, before y'all come at me for not saying that UCLA was #1, this was written actually in June 9th of this year, so it is a recent article, and as far as I understand it, that is where UC Berkeley stands in the rankings. It's not that UCLA isn't a great school, but UC Berkeley is well known for being a highly ranked school, and kind of related to this, but mostly just another side note, in addition to being the #1 public university, it is also the oldest university in California, which was another thing that attracted me to the campus, but I will talk about that in a later point. Reason number two was the faculty. I think that one of the things that makes UC Berkeley such a great school is its faculty. On like a numbers base and one of the facts that they put out there to like wow people, UC Berkeley is home to 8 current Nobel Prize winners and 29 Nobel Prize winners overall. The faculty at Cal is definitely world-renowned, well-known in their fields of study, and at the forefront of important research that, at this exact moment in time, is working on understanding the pandemic and developing a vaccine. That's stinking cool. That's the school I go to. I just blows my mind. Now, when it comes to my department specifically, which is anthropology, the people that make up the faculty in the anthro department at UC Berkeley, after doing a little bit of research, are people that I decided I really wanted to be learning from, making one-on-one connections with, and possibly doing research with. And especially because a lot of them specialize in the areas of interest that I'm interested in, so things like North American archaeology, historical archaeology, and Central American archaeology. And also, one of the things that I appreciate about the faculty in the anthropology department is the fact that they make part of their curriculum, part of our discussions about how archaeology and anthropology fits into the world on a bigger scale and like concerning social issues and that kind of thing. Reason number three is research and access to research. So let's talk a little bit about that since I mentioned it in my last point. UC Berkeley is a research university, which means that the faculty is always performing research, studying ideas, innovating, creating new technologies, all that kind of stuff. But they would not be able to do most of this without the undergraduate research program. This program allows undergraduate students, even transfer students, to engage closely with members of the faculty in their research. Their website says, as an apprentice, you can work on faculty research and learn advanced research skills, explore fields that interest you, and find out what it is like to be an academic at the world's premier research institution. Basically, I just think that UC Berkeley makes it really easy and appealing to join in on the research at a premier research university as an undergraduate student. And I personally cannot wait to be a part of one of their projects in the future. I have no idea how things are going to work for the online semester, but we'll figure it out. To be fair, I do believe that UCLA also has a similar program, but I do not know anything about it, and when I went to go look it up, it was not very well advertised. The Undergraduate Research Apprenticeship Program, or URAP as they call it at Berkeley, was like on the list of the top 5 things that they mentioned to you the second that you were accepted into their school. The next point that I had was their breadth of education. Now, I am not a freshman student, but one of the things that I do appreciate about UC Berkeley, and one of the things that they advertise, is their breadth of education requirement. If you come in as a freshman, you're supposed to follow certain requirements that ensure that you receive this breadth of education, meaning that you take classes from a whole bunch of different areas of study, so from the sciences, the social sciences, the humanities, the arts, so on and so forth. And this actually even kind of happens if you come in as a transfer student taking your upper division courses. Myself, as a transfer student, I do have to take courses that count towards my anthropology degree, but as an anthropology major specifically, I am still required to take classes from one of the 4 branches of anthropology. So if you don't know, anthropology, study of humans, and in that we have 4 branches. There's linguistics, sociocultural anthropology, biological anthropology, and archaeology, but as part of my degree, I have to take a class from all of those, not just archaeology. And by doing that, they ensure that we receive a breadth of knowledge about our field, which specifically in anthropology, like I keep saying, is really important because anthropology is supposed to be a holistic field, meaning that it takes a little bit from everything and tries to understand things not just as one single component, but as the thing as a whole. And in my opinion, you can't do that unless you understand the different branches of anthropology, which is one of the reasons why I like this program a lot. The next thing that I had written down on my iPad here was the location and the campus. So this is something that I think all prospective students think about, whether you're coming in as a freshman or a transfer student. Location and campus can definitely be determining factors. Now, of course, at the moment, ain't nobody going nowhere, but before the world came to a grinding halt, location was definitely one of the biggest reasons why I chose Cal over UCLA. So real quick, just let me tell you a little secret. Just come here. I hate SoCal. There, I said it. I'm a NorCal girl through and through. I do not like Los Angeles. I do not like how hot it gets. Yes, my family is from SoCal and James's family is from SoCal, but I was born and raised near Sacramento. Give me that NorCal life. Jokes aside, location is actually really important to me for a couple of big reasons. I do have a chronically ill family member, and I have a boyfriend who lives with me in the area I'm in now, and I wanted to be able to be near enough to them that I could come home easily and without spending hundreds of dollars on plane tickets. Not to mention, like, you know, family obligations aside, how beautiful the Bay Area is. UC Berkeley specifically has a botanical garden, it has hiking trails. The weather, while not attractive to some, is the kind of weather that I absolutely adore. Funny enough, I live only about an hour away from Berkeley, and in Berkeley it's like 70 degrees. Where I live, it's like 95. I think I said this in another video. One of the things I was super excited about with the whole moving to Berkeley thing that's not happening now is I was going to get to experience weather that I actually like because I don't like melting every day. Additionally, UC Berkeley is about a 20-minute train ride away from San Francisco and many of the other great Bay Area cities. The Bay Area also has a pretty good public transportation system known as the Bay Area Rapid Transit, or the BART, which is a train system that goes all through the Bay Area. And then, specifically important to me, there's something called the Berk Bus, which is a bus that runs between UC Berkeley's campus and UC Davis's campus, meaning that I would be able to come home easily on the weekends and for a relatively low price. And y'all know I am not taking my car with me to the Bay Area because that sounds like a terrible idea. Nobody wants to be spending hundreds of dollars every month just to keep their car there. And I also have to mention the campus itself. The campus is incredibly historic. It's, like I said earlier, it's the very first university that was ever established here in California. Another interesting thing about the campus is that it wasn't all built all at once. The campus has expanded over time, meaning that each building is different and unique. It's not necessarily cohesive in style, but it is unique in style. I also have to say that not only is the campus historic in its age, but it is also historic in its events. UC Berkeley has seen many protests in its history, and the most important and famous of them all was the free speech protests in the 1960s, which if you want to learn more about, I'll leave a link in the description box. And the campus doesn't just stop stop there. It makes it a point to make social justice and social change part of its education and focuses much of its curriculum on discussing these issues, but also making actionable plans for the students to partake in. Okay, the next one that I want to talk about was support for transfer students. Did you guys know I'm a transfer student? How many times can I tell you guys that I'm a transfer student before you guys start to get bored and leave? But as an incoming transfer student, I was quite frankly overwhelmed by the amount of support that I was being offered as a transfer student. And also a re-entry / 25 plus student, which I am. I turned 25 today, the day I'm filming this. Actually, it is my birthday, so yay me. It's time for my quarter life crisis, which includes me pacing around the living room wondering if archaeology is actually right for me and whether or not I'm wasting all of my time and money studying a degree that I don't actually like, and then realizing no way, I actually do like it. I'm just having anxiety. Back to Berkeley. They have a very well established transfer center. It just celebrated its 20th year, and I actually heard somewhere that it was the first transfer center of its kind in the United States, but I'm not 100% sure on that. They offer a lot of services for transfer students, including tutoring, mentor programs, financial aid and scholarships specifically for transfer students, and they also even have housing that is specifically designed for transfer students in order to house them together so that they can get to know each other. Basically, I just feel very well supported as a transfer student. I did not experience that much outreach as a transfer student from the other campuses that I applied to. Okay, the next one, and I think this is really important, financial aid. UC Berkeley dedicates a lot of its financial resources towards providing financial aid for its students. In fact, according to their website, nearly 2/3 of Berkeley undergraduate students receive some form of financial aid, and 60%, let me just say that word again, 60% of the undergraduates who graduated in the years 2017 and 2018 graduated student loan debt free. That's a lot. And even when students did graduate with student loan debt, the average loan debt was about $18,000, which is, get this, $10,000 less than the national average. I mean, if that does not make UC Berkeley appealing to you, then I don't know what does. And my last point is my major. So definitely something everybody should look at when they're considering what school they want to go to is the major that they plan on going into and whether or not your school offers that major and how that program will work for you, if it's a good program, if it's well ranked, all that kind of stuff. So like I said, my major is anthropology, and anthropology is a super broad discipline which can make it difficult to make it cohesive, and yet UC Berkeley ranks in the top 4 anthropology programs in the US. And like I said earlier in the video, the faculty of the anthropology department was another reason why I wanted to study here. They're conducting research in my area of interest. The courses that they offer me through my program give me access to rigorous methodology courses. This means that I have the opportunity to get a world-renowned education in my major and make connections with people that will help me further my career as an anthropologist. And also, UC Berkeley is home to one of the most famous anthropological museums, the Phoebe Hearst Museum. It has over 1 million, I'm not sure how many millions, but it has over 1 million individual artifacts. It is indeed home to a large collection, of which is open to students for research, and I'm very excited about the idea of doing research there and possibly working at the museum at some point in the future. Okay, I definitely talked a lot in this video. I can see in the viewfinder it says I've been recording for 30 minutes. So I'm gonna stop talking now. I could probably go on and on and on and on about why I chose UC Berkeley over UCLA, and I didn't even get into the whole "it felt magical for me when I walked onto campus" part, but trust me, that's definitely part of it too. If you are a high school or a transfer student trying to decide where to go or where to apply to, definitely consider the pros, the cons, you know, the cost of tuition, the cost of living in the area, but also don't forget to listen to your gut, what you really want to do and what will really make you happy. I'm sure if I had picked some other school over Cal, I would have been just fine, but for me, there's just that something about being on Cal's campus and interacting with the students and the faculty that just feels right to me. And hopefully you will end up experiencing that at some point when you are trying to decide what school to go to, and hopefully that feeling will help you figure it out. Anyways, like I said, I was going to stop talking, so I'm actually going to go now. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to see more college and sometimes vintage related content. Leave a comment below if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, and check out my social media links, and any of the other links that I mentioned will all be in the description box below. Thank you, as always, for being here today, and I'll see you in the next video. Go Bears! Okay, bye. That was cringy.